Hey you guys, thanks for joining me for the last video installment of this month's subject, which is the importance of protecting your profits in retirement. If you watched the last two videos, you know that I specialize in working with people ages 57 and up because in my mind as a retirement specialist, asset accumulation is a whole different discipline than protecting and preserving assets so people don't outlast them in retirement. So I went in the first video to talk about how it's important in my mind that people who are pre-retirees, near retirement, or people who are in retirement should be shifting from a 100% asset accumulation strategy more toward asset preservation strategies. And I shared with you a story on how if you had retired in 2006 and were 100% invested in the stock market, asset accumulation strategy, that you could have lost up to 40% of your retirement portfolio. And if your advisor at that particular time or stockbroker was telling you that in order to create income, we'd simply peel off 5% on $1 million portfolio and create a $50,000 a year guaranteed income or income, how that plan was blown up in 2007 and 2008 when the account value could have been diminished from $1 million to $600,000. Now you'd have to pull out better than 8% to meet that $50,000 a year goal. And when returns are a measly 1%, you're going backwards and eroding principal. And that's how good, hardworking Americans blew up their retirement plans. And that's the motivation for me to do this video for you to make sure that more people avoid situations like that. In the second video, I talked about how people in my industry have been demonizing, very well by the way, safe money strategies that protect people against losing a significant portion of their retirement for one of two reasons, and this is crazy. One of the reasons that they demonize or hide these strategies from people in retirement is that they're not licensed, which is pretty crazy to me because if you're a retirement planner, consulting and advising people about how to fund and have a happy, fulfilling retirement, why would you not be able to offer those types of plans? It makes no sense to me. The second reason is that they would make less money recommending and using safe money strategies inside retirement portfolios, as opposed to leaving those assets 100% invested in the stock market. So let's get that right. Either one, they're not licensed. That makes no sense to me. Or two, they would make less money if they offered those strategies to you. So their own personal greed overcomes, or their corporate greed overcomes doing the right thing for the client. It's just crazy. The third thing that I talked about was an example of how safe money strategies work. And I posed a question to you that if there was a mutual fund that was out there that had a disclosed fee of between 1% and 2%, that's it, no hidden fees. It allowed you to participate in all of the performance, the upside performance of that particular index. And if the index lost money, you were simply credited zero. Would you be interested? Yeah, me too. And those plans are out there. So I'm going to talk a second today about those plans and then how you find those plans. Those plans that are out there, they're a combination of securities plans and insurance plans, but they are licensed as insurance or asset preservation plans. And what the insurance industry started doing better than 7 years ago was they were making alliances with investment companies to say, hey, if you've got a good track record of positive growth without taking major losses, we can make an alliance here for the benefit of all of us, their corporations and the client as well. There are a few companies out there right now that I'm going to talk about from a 30,000 foot level, large national insurance companies that have made agreements with large wirehouses where the wirehouse will offer the index that you can deposit your money into and allow your money to grow with the performance of that index. But if that company should not have a good year, rather than taking the loss like you would inside of a normal brokerage account, you're simply credited zero. Let's get that right. You do good, you can participate in all the upside potential of that index. They don't do their job, you're simply credited zero. That's how you don't lose. So if you have to think about these plans at a 30,000 foot level, It's basically like a index with an insurance wrapper. Okay, so I'm not going to offer any return information, and I'm not making any guarantees on returns here, but rest assured, if you're able to find those, they have great track records of performance. So here's the $1,000,000 question. How do you find plans like that? Well, if you're outside of Fort Collins, or you're looking at this from around the world, it's easy to find them, or I should say it's simple to find them, but it's not easy. And here's what I mean by that. You need to find somebody who is duly licensed to offer securities and insurance. And in my mind, if you're working with a retirement planner, they should be offering both. And the reason why is that person or that company can take the best of the securities world, the best of the insurance world, and make a plan that adds strength and synergy to itself for your benefit. So how do you find those firms? Well, first, in my mind, there's only two types of securities licenses that somebody can hold that puts them by law on a fiduciary standard. What's a fiduciary standard? That is the standard that says whoever holds that license must put your interests ahead of their own, the company they work for, and any of the providers that they offer, and they have to be in independent status. Okay? So don't go run out and grab your investment advisor and say, hey, do you have a fiduciary standard? Because of course they'll all say yes, even though they may not. They'll all say, well, of course we're doing the best thing for you. The best way to ask that question is to say what type of license you hold, and leave it at that, no matter what they say. If they say they're 65 or 66 licensed, you know they have an independent, fee-based relationship with you, where they cannot receive any commissions based upon any mutual funds you buy, any stocks you buy, or any bonds you buy. Period. End of story. Anybody else is nothing more than a glorified security salesperson. So that's one thing that you need to look for in a company or an outfit or a person that could possibly offer the types of plans that I'm talking about. The second thing is you want to make sure that that person is also, or that company is also, insurance licensed in an independent way. You never want to work with a captive agent who can only offer 1 or 2 lines of insurance, because you and I both know if you're looking for a car, you want to work with an independent dealer, because a captive dealer has no incentive to tell you the advantages of their competition. And it's the same thing in my industry. So if I was looking at buying a new car and shopping between Ford, Chevy, and Toyota, and spent a month with each salesperson, and at the end of my evaluation, I went to Ford and said, hey, based upon, all my research and what everybody told me, I think Ford is the best way to go. You'll never hear the Ford salesperson say, well, you know what, Mr. Jackson, we were thinking about you, and based upon what you said and what you're going to use this vehicle for, we're not the best thing. You should be using Toyota. It'll never happen, and it's no different in my industry. So the best way to find those plans that we're talking about, the safe money plans with good, strong returns, is to find an independent securities licensed advisor who's also independent insurance licensed advisor. Putting those plans to work for you inside your portfolio, there's no one size fits all. And there's a lot of plans out there, just like anything, that really aren't worth their hill of beans. So part of my job as a retirement specialist and planner is to be able to analyze everything that's out in the market, make a determination on who's going to give you the best return with the lowest amount of volatility, as well as liquidity. So I'm not going to talk about how to specifically put it into your plan, because that's tailor-made to your goals, your time horizon on when you want to retire, or what you want to do in retirement. We also take into consider legacy planning. If you want more information on how to protect your assets against stock market losses, and how to put safety and guarantee with full transparency into your retirement plans, give me a call, 970-229-1616, or you can visit me on solidwealthadvisors.com. If you want to read more information about any subjects of retirement planning, you can visit my blog at www.solidwealthblog.com, or you can even visit our YouTube channel, which is just Solid Wealth Tips. Thanks for joining me today, and remember, the reason why I do what I do is because I want good, hardworking people just like you to have the best opportunity for the most fulfillment of health, wealth, spirituality, and go live your dreams in retirement. Look for me next time, because I promise it's going to be an awesome video. Have a great day.